Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan from NBC Sports Bay Area. How's it going today? It is Sunday. The 49ers did not have any practice, but they did have their coaches available to all of us. So they did make a move today. They signed Robbie Chosen, who was on the practice squad with the 49ers in 2024, and then he went to be on the Dolphins roster. And then now they have signed him again to a 1 year deal. They have released wide receiver Marquez Callaway, who arguably was there for just a few days. He did a few practices, and apparently they didn't, wasn't what they needed. So they released Marquez Callaway and bring back Robbie Chosen. So it used to be Robbie Anderson. Now he goes by Robbie Chosen. But, I think this whole wide receiver group is in flux with Juwan Jennings being out. My colleague Cam Inman saw Juwan Jennings right outside the locker room. But they're trying to work without him, without Jacob Cowing. Demarcus Robinson could be out for a 3-game suspension at the beginning of the year. So trying out these new upright receivers, trying to get the right combination. Now, it has been Ricky Pearsall's show. Ricky Pearsall stood out a lot on Saturday. 5 catches, 4 from Brock Purdy, 1 from Mac Jones. He also had the ball in his hands 2 other times. So, it really is Ricky Pearsall's job to lose at that number 1 position, except, Juwan Jennings. If he gets healthy, he'll be back. But Juwan Jennings is looking for a new contract, still dealing with that calf injury, and Kyle Shanahan has no timeline whatsoever ready for Juwan Jennings. So the wide receiver game room again in flux. And I did talk to Leonard Hankerson today, and I asked him, hey, what are you getting from these young guys? Jordan Watkins has flashed, Isaiah Nair has flashed. Are they doing better than wide receivers that you've seen before in Kyle Shanahan's offense? Because generally, young wide receivers in Kyle Shanahan's offense are just trying to stay afloat. They're trying to keep their head above water. It's an uphill battle when they start calling the plays as opposed to a scripted practice. So, just knowing where all 11 are on the field, it's a challenge. They've been looking at sideline signs and then just running their route. They don't have to worry about timing. They just to get open. So Ricky Pearsall and Brock Purdy learned very quickly. Brock Purdy knew, but he has been working with Ricky Pearsall about having to get his timing on. Like, you can't just run open and expect the ball to get to you. Every wide receiver, even Leonard Hankerson said today, he's like, we're always open. But yes, you might be open, but you're not open at the right time. Maybe it's a little later. Maybe you got to take a little, as Leonard Hankerson, take some juice off of it, slow it down. It's all about timing. And that's what happens in Kyle Shanahan's offense. The timing is so important. So if you aren't on the same page as the quarterback and the offensive lineman and Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle and et cetera, the play is not going to be a success and you're not going to get the ball. So it's taken some time for Ricky Pearsall to kind of get to the right speed, to the right place where he's going to be productive for the 49ers offense. And it's really starting to show. Standout day on Saturday without Juwan Jennings out there, without Jacob Cowing out there. Jordan Watkins did return to the field. I asked Leonard Hankerson specifically about Jordan Watkins and Isaiah Nair. And I was like, do they stand out, Junior Bergen, more than previous rookie wide receivers? He's like, they're about on par. So that considered, while we all watch Jordan Watkins and he does great on one-on-ones or he does great in the team drills, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's doing everything the coaches ask of him. So these young receivers, Isaiah Nair, Jordan Watkins, Junior Bergen, all great players as far as Leonard Hankerson is concerned, but they need to be even better. They need to know exactly how to time their routes, how to come out of their breaks, all of that. So that's been what they've been working on. In other offensive news, I did talk to Chris Furster, and he told me Ben Bartch, it's his job to lose at left guard, lining up next to Trent Williams. Just wrote a story about it. It's up on NBCSportsBayArea.com. And Ben Bartch is a guy who Chris Furster and the 49ers have liked for a while. They thought he played really well in the Buffalo game and then just got hurt early in the game against the Bears. He's been recovering. He had that quad injury. And I asked Chris Furster, and he kept saying, I love Ben Bartch. I love Ben Bartch. He's great. What do you love about him? And he said, not that he's a throwback, but just feels like, he's an old school guy. What he loves to do and is just, lift weights, play football, work hard. He takes coaching well. And so he's a favorite of Chris Verster. And he's also playing well. You can't just, do all those things and not play well. So it's translating in the field. Ben Bartch is the guy. It's his job to lose at left guard. So that's what Chris Verster said. He's offensive line coach, and usually what he says is very honest. So spoke to Leonard Hankerson and talked a lot to Ray Brown about the cornerbacks. Talked to him about Upton Stout and how he has really kind of been a self-starter, kind of like Dominic Pooney. I mean, I think Upton Stout could be a guy who really makes an impact on the 49ers defense this year. And it's because he's done the homework. He reached out to K'Wan Williams about how he plays because he's been compared to him a lot. He has done a lot of film study. He watched all of the film on Deommodore Lenoir at the Nickel last year. And then he even went back to 2018 to watch K'Wan Williams film. I mean, it's pretty remarkable, a guy who does that. It's similar to Dominic Pooney and how he watched all the install tapes from Chris Verster last year during the offseason. So how these guys use their 40 days away makes a huge difference. They have to do it right. They have to stay healthy, but also, are they taking advantage of every resource they have? And so Upton Stout has been doing that. So outside of that, no players today, no player accessibility, no one at the podium, and no open locker room until quite a bit later, a week from yesterday during open locker prop following the post game preseason game against the Denver Broncos. That happens on Saturday, a week from yesterday. So that's most of what I have for you. I spoke to a couple of the coaches, but I'm going to kind of write those notes down and then we'll talk about it a little later. All right. Hope you guys are well. Happy Sunday and talk to you soon.